Last, it's finally time to start working on this project. It's 1980 Honda XL250S. It's got a bit of a story. My brother-in-law bought it years ago and rode it for a few years. It's not nice or anything, as you can see. The seat's ripped. I spray painted it black. There's some scratches, dents, things like that. It's kind of worn out. Probably needs some top-end engine work at some point. But more to the point of this video is something that happened. It would have been fall of 2019. We were on a private motorcycle kind of trail ride in a group, and part of the trail had a huge jump at one point, and it caught us both unexpectedly. So we went over this huge jump, and all of a sudden it starts making a whole bunch of exhaust noise thanks to this problem here. It was broken already to begin with. That jump caused it to break again. I know it's amazing that a hose clamp did not hold the exhaust together. But be that repair as it may, it did break again. And at that point on the trail ride, it stopped idling properly and it would not kickstart afterwards. It sat idle for a week or two as I thought about what to do with it. And I kind of got the impression the bike had been run out of oil and had lost compression. And that was the cause, perhaps, of some of the problems we were seeing. The oil, when we had checked it, was pretty low. I think it's okay now, but it was pretty low at the time. So my mind immediately went to, oh man, it's lost compression, we're hosed. So the bike sat for a year off and on up in Wisconsin in a friend's garage. And then last fall 2020, we took it out again to decide whether or not it's worth it to get it back going again. And I was able to get it started again by riding it down a long hill and bump starting it. So that was nice. It still ran. After a while, I was even able to mess with the choke a little bit, and it even idled. It's still, I don't know if it's still kick-started or not, but at least it idled, which was an improvement. I'll put in some videos of that day here, so you can see what I'm talking about and hear the loud exhaust with the broken muffler pipe. So after we rode it around the property, we decided, okay, maybe it's still got compression after all. There's no smoke. Didn't seem like there was blow-by. Let's take it back home. And it sat outside for several months over the winter, unfortunately, for the bike. Now it's in my possession, and I'm going to try to do some diagnostics on it and see what the issue is. In the intervening years, I've kind of gone away from the blow-by ring lack of compression problem, and now I'm hoping or wondering if it's just fuel related. So I've got a compression test kit, and I've got some starter fluid, and let's see if it'll ever crank again on the kickstart, and let's see if it has any compression yet. Compression kit I got from Amazon. No complaints about it yet. I haven't used it or anything, but it was not expensive, and it seems like it's got hopefully the right adapters. Hoping it's one of these guys here, so I don't have to rely on one of these rubber fittings. That's going to be hard to kickstart it and hold it in place as I'm getting a compression reading. Meanwhile, I've got the trusty starter fluid. So my theory is, I hope if it is a fuel problem, that starter fluid will temporarily mask the problem and confirm that it will start, just doesn't have the right amount of fuel. I guess it's possible it's getting too much fuel, which would maybe prevent it from starting too, but let's see where this leads. All right, key is on, starter position's on, neutral, choke is on, fuel is on. Watch it fire up the first time. Check for fuel. Oh yeah, she's got fuel. It's old and nasty, but it's in there. nothing. I love the graphics and era of this thing, by the way. The stickers and the colors are all pretty cool. Oh, well, that can't be good. If it came out. Wow. I hope this came from the era after it's been sitting and we didn't run it like this on that trail ride. It was sitting for a while, so hopefully that's the result. I'm just going to tip the bike over, shake it out, and then I'll vacuum up the rest later. Alright, a couple squirts of the magic sauce. Let's see if this helps. Well, it runs. It was running away, but it runs. You probably saw me playing with the engine on and off switch just to keep it from over revving and killing itself, having not run for 6, 7, 8 months. But starter fluid seemed to do the trick. I'm guessing it's good on compression then. I don't know if I'll bother doing a compression test. It seems like the issue is fuel, not compression. So that's great news. Now to figure out what to do next. Last fall, immediately prior to that video I inserted earlier up at the Wisconsin property, I remembered I adjusted the carb to make it idle that day, and with the idle the way it is, I wonder if I've gone much too far and now it's idling too high. If I'm lucky, that's the cause of this weird idle. Now here's a screw right here. I wonder if this is what I adjusted. See if that fixes it, the idle problem. All right, test ride report. Obviously it runs okay even. After it gets warm, it seems like maybe it starts to die, but that could be because this choke seems to kind of pull itself back down again by itself. Probably something to do with this being too tight, perhaps. So it won't stay choked. And I think these old Hondas, they like to get warmed up before they behave properly. But it does run. It's definitely good enough to spend some more time on it, maybe even some money, like maybe a new carburetor or rebuild it. I don't know. But at least it runs. This was a lot easier to get it back running again than I thought. All I did was add some starter fluid, and now it starts up whenever I kick it. Oh, I did, as you saw, adjust the, I guess it's the idle knob. I don't really know what this is on the carburetor. I did mess around with this thing right here, and that might have also had an effect on it, but how lucky would that be if it was fixed just from, I don't know, playing around with that. I see the shocks are leaking, so that's a problem. And I wonder if this exhaust, I don't know, are these bikes really affected by back pressure, and maybe lack of back pressure would make it run strange? I'm thinking back to that trail ride we were on, how the problems arose when we went over that big jump and this thing broke. The poorly cobbled together exhaust fix broke. The problems seem to coincide around that time. I've looked up these pipes before. They are not cheap for such an old bike. I think, I want to say like $180 or something crazy. I wonder if there's enough here to rig up something, at least to simulate full back pressure of the muffler. Enough to say, is this contributing to the problem or not? So I'm pretty happy it's running again, at least without much work. Kind of an embarrassingly little amount of work, to be honest, but running nonetheless. And now I got to figure out how to make it run consistently and make it reliable again. Either way, I'll probably at least cobble together some homemade fix for that muffler to either make it ready for sale or just to make one potential problem factor go away, the back pressure factor. If it still misbehaves at that point, I'll end up probably either considering selling it on behalf of my brother-in-law or replacing the carb. This bike is the bike that kind of got me interested in motorcycles. I had owned one before like this. It didn't run, and it was going to be a project, and I gave up. But my brother-in-law has shared this bike with me for many years, and this is kind of what got me into cycling or motorcycling for real. So there's some sentimental value is my point. But at the same time, he's got a newer, nicer bike. I've got a newer, nicer bike now, the BMW you've seen videos of. So we don't really need this one, but this would be a good kind of spare to have around for friends or family that want to ride with us, or just to have as a garage toy. Let me know what you think, please, in the comments. Let me know what you think about keeping it versus selling it. Let me know what you think about potential problems, the idle problem, the throttle problem. What could those be related to? Could it be exhaust related, or just carburetor issues because it's a carburetor, or something else? That's it for now. We'll see where this leads, but thanks for watching, and let me know what you think. So when it's warming up now, seems like it's warming up, and perhaps as it warms, it's a little too rich, maybe. Maybe it's not still the right mixture on the carb. I'm hesitant to change the carb adjustment right now because it is running. But I think it's mixture related. I'm gonna try again. So it's at full rich right now, at least with that wonky cable, it's at full rich. Now let's see if I lean it out a little bit. Let's see what happens if I lean it out a little bit. Maybe half rich or half lean. So if I make it a little richer from the middle, that causes it to sputter. If I make it leaner from where it is in the middle, it just shuts off. What do y'all think?